solid all-around, really good kicker, punter. Just do a good job, but I think obviously offense leads the way for them.
Bill, you guys got a lot of sacks obviously last week. Just tell me about how you feel about that. What's kind of been the key to that, getting sacks and
Right.
pass rush and stuff.
You know, I think one of the big things we said last week, we had a really good running attack to stop, and I think when people say, well, you know, we're talking about rushing the passer here, but we knew we had to stop their running game, which would lead to them having to throw it. And I think they'd had 14 sacks for the whole year. So one of the things we talk about is coverage. You know, we like to play man coverage. Don't play it all the time, but we like to play it some, play press coverage. So a lot of those sacks were coverage sacks. Our coverage guys just did a great job. And I think every week we're getting better at rushing the passer. I think our guys are really learning what we need and the intensity, and you know, that's just a lot of determination to keep, you know, to rush the passer. But Levin, I mean, it's hard not to. We don't like being arrogant, but it's hard not to brag on them for that, because that was a great night for sure.
Coach Clark, on the offensive side, given DeMarcus' great success with getting in the end zone, but counter with the fact that the team's now seen it now for 15 weeks
Right.
in a row, do you worry much that the direct snap inside that 3 is a little bit too expected? You know, and McNeese got him 3 times in a row
Right.
up there before he finally punched it in
Yeah.
on that one thing. But speak to that a little bit, because I know it's a big part of your offense.
It is. You know, I think, you know, there's that question, you know, what is a tendency? You know, and you're talking to a guy who does a lot of defensive studying and tendencies. You know, people create tendencies because things work. And, I mean, we had it stopped, I guess, maybe it was SEMO may have stopped us one time.
Yeah,
you know, but we've got a lot of other parts to that package. You know, we took a ball outside that we shouldn't have took outside, you know, from the inch line. But, you know, with a lot of that stuff we leave up to DeMarcus. You know, believe it or not, he knows what we're looking for. He's looking at numbers, and you've noticed us doing some shifting and some stuff lately. So we've got some other parts to that package that we really hadn't shown. But I think it's probably batting about, you know, 99%.
Yeah,
So
right.
we're going, you know, we'll keep doing it. I mean, I think they know, you know, we're going to keep doing it, but we've got some wrinkles to it that we really hadn't shown yet.
What makes your team so good on the road? I think 6-1 away from Jacksonville.
You know, I think one of the things to kind of just go back to who we want to be. You know, in January, one of the neat things for us, we started workouts in the morning, and that was a big deal to me to really come out here and just in really an inclement weather. You know, we did spring training in the morning, and all those things to me lead up to what do you do on the road. You know, you got to pull together. You got to be a little better. You got to be a little tougher. I'm just real big on it being us, and I think when you get on the road and it's you know, the staff, there's no distractions, we should be good. I mean, we really should, and I think there's always that little bit of us against the world mentality. You know, we could go back to the UT Martin game, and, you know, our band wasn't there, and I mean, there was probably 50 Jack State people there. But that was a time for us to really pull together and pull for each other, and we had a crowd this week. We had our band, and we had, you know, coaches' wives, and people took bus. I mean, we felt like we had a home game, but I think we take a lot of pride in that. You know, I really do.
Max, you got an interesting dilemma coming up in the next couple of days. Graduation Friday. You're either going to be in the air or on the ground at Eastern Washington. Talk a little bit about the pulling at it.
It's a big deal for me, because the whole goal for playing football was a way for me to get an education, and I finished school in 3 years, but right now football is my main focus. So either wherever we're at, either in the plane or in the Eastern Washington, football is going to be the main focus. But also, I think they're just going to mail me my diploma to the house. So as long as I got that diploma, it says I graduated. So it's all good.
Who else is there any other guys in that same boat that you want?
Yeah, I think we've got some other guys in that boat. I would say Gray, who else? Griffin Thomas, maybe. I wish I had that list in front of me. We got a few guys though that have been in that same boat. Maybe Ellis.
If you're on the ground, do they stream the graduation live? You like let them watch it, and then it's almost like watching a guy get married when you're someplace else.
It's something, but we really are proud of that. I mean, that's something you should be proud, especially in 3 years. So that's a big deal for us. We talk academics every single day. These guys can tell you that. So that's a huge deal. That's why they're here.
Would you do that if you could just watch, they stream it or any of that stuff? Just to say, well, it's kind of a part of it.
I might. I don't know though, because I'm here. I will be there to play football, so I don't know if I want to take my mind off the game or not.
Bill, it seems like your offensive line's been pretty consistent, same unit pretty much all season.
Right.
How important is that for you guys?
That's huge. Those guys playing together. I mean, we're not the biggest. I think we laugh about that every week. I think we get off the bus and, every team we play is bigger than us. But those guys, just technicians, Coach Benefield's done a great job with that O-line. Coach Wright with the tight ends. We figure those guys in together. We got Gary here with the tight ends, representing the tight ends as well. So, I think consistency, playing together, being real intelligent guys. I think we got a bunch of smart guys up front, and they just do a really good job.
It's about as far of a road trip as you guys could make without going to Hawaii.
That's right. Yeah, I think, it's the other end of the country, and I think that's, we've took a bunch of road trips, nothing quite like this. I think we'll get on out there early and get acclimated, and then it's just going to be the normal, I guess other than a red field, it's going to be pretty normal, So, like I said, we've been pretty good on the road, so hopefully it'll continue.
That was going to be my next questions. What do the players think about a red field?
I think the biggest thing, and I think we can get to that pretty quickly, for them, it's a novelty, and I think anything that gets you seen. I mean, that's what you want in recruiting. I think that was their idea, and it served its purpose because people talk about it. So from a playing standpoint, I don't think it'd be any different. I think watching film's kind of hard. That red field kind of blinds you, but I think smart from their part because it's gotten attention for their program, and that's what you want, in recruiting.
You wear the red pants?
We're going to try and be all red now. It worked pretty good last week, so, I think NCAA-wise, they've got to be in dark uniforms, I think.
They do.
So Coach Canet's
They have to be in a white jersey.
That's right. So good chance we might be in red pants. I usually surprise them with the pants when they get to their locker, but there's a good chance we could be in red again.
Bill, how much film have you gotten to see of these folks that you're playing?
Pretty good bit.
And can you give us some specific senses of what they do? Not so much how you got to counter it, but I mean, what are we going to see from them besides the quarterback that does?
I think from they are really good spread offense, and I think people from a guy who was one of the first guys to really be part of that in our state, back in the late '90s, people that really understand it and know about throwing uncovered receivers, and they can, all their routes are based on zone and man, and I mean, these guys are well schooled. Obviously, you got a head coach who played quarterback. He's running the show, so that's what I usually look at. Where's his time spent? I'm sure he's schooling that quarterback. And this guy he knows what he's doing. I mean, they get a certain coverage. They throw the ball to pylons, and you can see their receivers know how to. Somebody's playing press coverage. They're getting their hands off. Very good up front. They do a good job changing their splits up. Huge splits sometimes, tight splits sometimes. And then they got the whole package. I mean, then they'll jump in 12 personnel and pound the ball right at you with big folks. You've got a great running back and multiple running backs. They got more than one. 22. Forte sticks out to me, but 5. Brown is good, number 5. You got tight ends they can bring in the game. So you got an offense that's super explosive. It can score a lot of points. I don't even know what they're averaging, but it's a ton. And then defensively, it's that 4-2-5 with a little bit of, they take that weak side in and they'll slide to a 3-4 look some, but it's super solid. And what they do, they're not going to blitz a ton, but they're going to make you beat them, make you work it down the field, make you make a mistake. And that's kind of what I see in their special teams. Really good, so offense is kind of where they're dynamic, and then everything else is just really good.
When I look at their numbers, this ranked statistical numbers and all that stuff, it looks like they've given up a lot of yards to the air.
Yeah.
But is that because they play in a passing league? I mean, that's pretty much a victory.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's where you are, who you're playing against, and they're getting a lot of snaps, which sometimes happens to us defensively, especially early in the year we were tempo, and so defense just out there more. I tell you, and I think everybody's quarterback is important. I think their guys you got a great thrower, and then he's a tailback. I mean, he runs like a tailback, but he makes all the throws. And so now, you know, do you rush him? Do you not rush him? Do you zone drop? And then they pick you apart. I mean, it's
What's the difference between him and Garoppolo? Garoppolo doesn't run it.
right. This guy runs it more. This guy runs it more. You know, and I've always said about Garoppolo, he could run it. He just does not a lot. You know, but this guy runs it more. And I don't want to say zone read as much as play breaks down. You know, he's running around back there. He runs toward the line of scrimmage and he throws one, you know, 60 yards for a touchdown. So he's as good as advertised.
Coach, can you just talk about the players that are with us and each one, maybe starting there with Edge?
All right, Kev Wolf down there, senior linebacker, has just, you know, just every week has just gotten better and better. And, you know, we ask our linebackers to do all kind of things. And one of the things we really try to do lately is get more diversified. You know, we're playing sometimes 3 fronts to each personnel grouping, and they make a lot of calls and checks and have to cover backs out of the backfield. And, you know, I mean, obviously, first pick of the game, you know, just set the tone for that game. He's got a back out of the backfield, man-to-man, covers him without interfering with him and gets the pick, and obviously leads to our first touchdown. So just really done a great job. Jerry Slota, senior tight end. You know, I think Jerry was our proverbial hard luck guy early on. You know, just one of the hardest working guys we've got on this team, hard-nosed. I mean, you know, Jerry's history, I think a lot of you know it, but has been a quarterback, has been a linebacker. You know, done all kind of things for us, but he's kind of our move tight end. You know, you see him a lot of times come across the field and block, you know, on our split zone play, and then, you know, of course, getting out of the backfield and catching the ball some and doing a lot of different things. Now we've even got him on the kickoff unit, doing a great job covering there. So just really gave us great leadership. Even when he was hurt, he was giving us great leadership. Obviously, Eli Jenkins to my right, just, you know, the thing I think that comes to me about Eli that we talk a lot about now playing quarterback is confidence. You know, people say, you know, Eli just came around, and we've talked a lot about the fact, I mean, he was our starter to start the year. I mean, so that's who we knew he was. Alabama State, a lot of people didn't know he got his hand banged up in that game, and even really Georgia State, same thing. I think you were 5 for 5 or 7 for 7 to start that game, but is really playing well. I think the offense, our offensive coaches have done a good job of finding, you know, things that fit him. You know, obviously we're running the ball a lot, but we're still throwing the ball and doing a lot of great things with the zone read. The biggest thing he's doing is protecting the football, and that's where we start. We start with protecting the football. Max Holcomb to my left, obviously you heard about him graduating, so you know, he's a pretty smart guy, does a lot of our calls up front. Is a guy I can count on every day coming to practice the way he's supposed to practice. You know, he's an encourager. He's enthusiastic, you know, but once again, he makes that snap. So when you snap out of the shotgun, which we do every single play, that's huge. And he knows I only say it about every day, hey, let's get the snap, let's get the snap. But he's having to snap and block, and if you've ever played center, that's probably about as tough a thing as you can do. So just a great job up front with O-line. And then, of course, Dustin Gayton on the end has really come on probably as much as anybody we've had. Really rushing the passer well. He's playing the run game well. We ask our jack linebacker to be a defensive end. We ask him to go out. You know, I don't know how many times y'all ended up covering their big tight end, the big transfer from LSU, but heck, I can't even remember the guy hardly having a catch. So between him and Amar Jones, they did a great job. But I don't know how many sacks you end up with other than 3. Had 3. Seen you pretty quick. Had 3 sacks right there. So just doing a great job. And that guy's our jack linebacker's really got to be versatile. So. You know, and you can't bring all your players up here, but these guys are a great representation of our team.